Hello everyone, have a good day. Myself Pinky Shah, Assistant Professor in LJ College of Engineering in PC Department. Welcome to the next session of Principle of Management. In today's session, we will discuss about the different functions of management one by one. These are the 5 persons, name given Smith, like Cooper, Logan and the Westons. These are the 5 different employees in only one company. But these all employees are different from each other. On which basis? On the basis of this. First one, on the basis of authority. All 5 of them perform different activities and functions to help the smooth running of that company. That based on the authority means each one has a different functions to perform and a different chain of command that he controls. Each one holds a different amount of authority and enjoys a different status in his position in his that company. The difference between these positions and its functions at companies is due to the various functions of management. What are the functions? The term function of management refers to a strict separation of the functions and the kinds of work performed by various positions in an organization. The 5 key functions of the management are: first, planning, staffing, organizing, controlling and then directing. In today's session, we will discuss about the planning and the staffing. Hence, to understand the management of any organization, it is very important to understand the different functions of that company, and for that, let's learn about the different functions of the management one by one. These are the functions: planning, staffing, organizing, directing and the controlling. Like this is the another image: planning, staffing, organizing, controlling and directing. First, learn about the planning. What is planning and what is the meaning of that planning? What is planning? Deciding in advance what to do, how to do, when to do and who is to do. This is the simple meaning of planning. It bridges the gap between where we are to where we want to go. It's a thinking before doing. One sentence which explains the concept of the planning is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The sentence is enough to understand the concept of planning. What is this plan? First of all, let's discuss about the objectives, goal, strategy, mission and the vision of that planning. What is the objective of that planning? Objective that clarifies the long-term direction of company. Mission, statement of the basic purpose for company's existence and its value. What is the strategy? Course of action created to achieve a long-term goal. And what's the goal? Long-term aims that a company, individual wants to achieve. And purpose or importance of the planning, it's provide the direction, creates a unifying framework, leads to economic utilization of resources, reduce the risk of uncertainty, facilitates the decision making, encourages innovation and the creativity. What are the elements of planning? Purpose, objective, strategies, policies, procedure, rules and the programs. These are the simple elements of the planning. Let's discuss the nature of planning one by one. First one is perceptiveness. What this nature says that every manager has the planning functions to perform. This is the simple, this nature says that. Second, what is the second nature says that? This is the primary function. Without planning, other functions of organization become meaningless. Third, it is the continuous in process, means it's a never ending activities. This is not like that, it is the stop and start, it is the continuous process. Fourth, flexible in nature, its future is unpredictable. Thus, The planning must provide enough room to cope up with the change in the global market. Fifth, goal-oriented, carried out to attain the objective of an organization, provides guidelines for attaining the goals. Next, it's an integrated process. It integrates the plan and actions of a manager. Next is the forward-looking. Without planning, business become random in nature, and it involves the brain activity. This planning does not forward without the brain activity. Means you must have to think for that planning. Now, what are the steps of planning? These are the 6 steps. First, determination of objective, establishment of planning premises, selection of the best plan from the alternative available, timing and the sequence of operation, estimation of future events, and last 6 is the follow-up action. Let's discuss this all steps one by one. Step number 1. Determination of objective is the first step in the planning process. The objectives so determined decide the future course of the action. Step number 2. Planning premises are the assumption for future which provides a framework for the planning process. They form the very basic for actions. Business environments are uncertain. Step number 3. All alternatives are found out, studied and evaluated. After careful consideration of all the points, an alternative is selected. This is step number 3. Step number 4. Timing is an essential consideration in any planning. Sequence of operation is also arranged carefully. Priorities are of course fixed. Step number 5. Some estimation is made for future events. There are trend studies which indicated possible future events. Means step number 5 is estimation of future event. Step number 6. Follow-up action. Follow-up is of course important. The plans so prepared are to be carried out. Follow-up action is also needed for seeing through the plan during the course of implementation. These are the 6 steps of the planning. Now, classification of planning, standing plans and single user plans. These are the simple 2 classification of plannings. Next is the advantage and disadvantage of planning. What are the advantage of planning? It gives a direction to manager and non-manager. Planning can reduce the impact of change. It minimizes the waste and redundancy. Planning establishes objectives and standards that facilitates control. What are the disadvantages of planning? Planning may create rigidity. Plans can't be developed for a dynamic environment. Formal plans can't replace institutions and the creativity. Planning focus manages attention on today's competition, not on tomorrow's survival. These points we discuss in this planning: meaning, definition, steps, nature, and the advantage. Now let's discuss the second functions of the management is the staffing. What is staffing? Definition we will discuss in this session. What is staffing? Staffing means filling and keeping field position in the organization structure. This is a simple definition of planning. That what is planning? The nature of staffing. Staffing is an important function. Staffing is pervasive activity. Staffing is continuous activity. The basis of staffing function is efficient management of person. Staffing helps in placing right man at the right job. Staffing is performed by all the managers. Factors affecting the staffing: internal and external. Both factors affecting the staffing. What are the staffing procedure? First, human resources. Second, recruitment. Third, selection. Fourth, induction and orientation. Next, training. Then last one is the separation line. These are the steps of the staffing. Let's discuss these procedures, these steps one by one. First one is the human resources planning. Manpower planning, which is also called as a human resources planning, consists of putting right number of people, right kind of people at the right place, right time, doing the right things for which they are suited for the achievement of the goals of organizations. That importance of human resources planning, key to managerial functions, efficient motivation, better human relations, and the higher productivity. The types of the recruitment. These are the two types, internal and the external. Internal recruitment is a recruitment which takes place within that organizations, and the external recruitment. That external recruitment means external sources of recruitment have to be solicited from the outside of the organization, like employment at the factory level, advertisement, employment exchange, employment agency, educational institutions, recommendation, and labor contracts, etc., etc. Next, employee selection process. Every employee selection is the process of putting right man on right job. It is the procedure of matching organizational requirement with the skills and the qualification of the people. Next, employment selection process. Like interviews, tests, different processes are used for the employment selection. Next is the placement. Once the candidates are selected for the required job, they have to be fitted as per the qualification. Placement is said to be the process of fitting the selected person at the right job or the place, like fitting the square pegs in the square holes and round pegs in the round holes. Once he is fitted into the job, he is given the activities he has to perform and also told about his duties. Next is the orientation. During the orientation, employees are made aware about the mission and the vision of the orientation. Generally, the information given during the orientation program include employees layout, types of the organizational structure, departmental goals, organizational layout, general rules, regulation, standing orders, and grievance system. These are the last training of employee. Training of employees takes place after the orientation. Training is the process of enhancing the skill, capabilities, and knowledge of employees for doing a particular job. Training process molds the thinking of employees and leads to quality performance of the employee. It is the continuous and never-ending process. And employee remuneration. Employee remuneration refers to the reward of compensation given to the employee for their work performance. Remuneration provides a basic attraction to the employee to perform the job efficiency effectively. There are mainly two types of the remuneration, time rate method and the piece rate method. Thus, in this session, we discuss the planning and the staffing and the procedure for both also. And the next session, we will discuss directing, controlling. For this session, these points are sufficient. We will meet in the next session. Thank you so much.